Good morning, Kansas City. Welcome to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM. I'm your host, Kevin Keatsman, in for the next hour, leading you up to the Vince Show. And we got a nice show lined up for you to end the work week. As we're going to talk a little football later, you'll hear from Stan Weber, who has been a fill-in host of Uncanceled before. He knows more about football than anyone I know. We'll get his thoughts on the Chiefs-Colts. Folks, this is essentially the first must-win regular season game of the Mahomes era. I think the Chiefs' path to the playoffs is a train wreck if they don't win Sunday against the Colts, mainly because it would just show to me that they're not good enough. That's too many good teams they will have lost to. At some point, you got to start beating the good teams. You're at Arrowhead. It's going to be 63 degrees and sunny. This is the one. This is where the Chiefs, and I do think they're going to win. I think we'll talk about this later with Mark Van Sickle at the end of the show as we do our Stone Cold lock picks of the week. But I do think the Chiefs will win Sunday, and I think they'll beat the Cowboys. But the Cowboys have gotten better. That Thanksgiving Day thing is not what it once looked like. It looked like an easy win. The Cowboys made a bunch of trades before the deadline, and they got way better. So there is no gimme there. But I do think we're probably just 6 days away from the Chiefs being 7-5 and the entire conversation changing. But right now, it's just a 50% shot, according to the computer, that the Chiefs make the playoffs. We'll get Stan's thoughts on the game. He will break it down for you and let you know what to watch for and what's going on there. So we'll look forward to that. Also, we'll talk with Mark a little bit about the college games this weekend. Rough weekend for our college teams. They're all on the road, and they're all big underdogs. Kansas probably has the best chance of winning of all of them, but we will get into that. We start today with something that caught my attention earlier this week. I saw a lot of chatter about this. There's a man who has been making documentaries for decades named Ken Burns. He's won every award in the book. He became known to me when he started doing the history of baseball documentaries that he did. And then he went on, he's done so many other things, so many different documentaries. And I remember at the time, and I never really watched them because I could tell, I don't know if I've got a sixth sense or a radar for these things or something like that. But I like history. I don't like revisionist history. And I really don't like liberal history. The way liberals remember history bothers me because it just comes, I think conservatives wake up every day wanting to have a good day and a happy day and looking for good, positive things and taking care of their own life and their loved ones and their friends and all this stuff. And I think a lot of liberals wake up every day trying to find fault, negative things, bad things, and they want to accentuate that. And they want to perpetuate it. And I think that's largely what some of these documentaries are. Now, I'm overselling what the baseball series was, but I remember at the time, like Joe Posnanski loved it, and all these people that were in the media here that I knew were like committed liberals. And I was like, oh, no. If these people love this so much, I don't think I'll like it. And I started to watch, and I'm like, it's a little too highbrow for me. Ken Burns is a gifted and talented guy, but make no mistake about it. This is public broadcasting. This is PBS. And it, in many ways, is more effective or dangerous than CNN or MS Now or whatever they're calling it, or things like this. There's a new series out that Ken Burns has done. It's 6 parts, 12 hours. It's PBS's Ken Burns. It's called American Revolution. Well, now that sounds interesting. That sounds like something any Republican would love to watch. Any conservative, great, traditional American would love to watch. But it's not what you're getting. It bashes America. It bashes it right from the start. It says Native Americans had a centuries-old democracy here before the colonization happened, that Ben Franklin copied from the Native Americans' actual democracy, and that our country and everything that we did with our democracy, our republic, okay, or using democracy, we copied from Native Americans that had several tribes that bonded together. They basically bonded together, as I understand it, to not kill each other. You do you, we'll do us, that's it. But there was no, this land is our land, we've got it all. There was no constitutional convention. There was none of that. But this documentary immediately begins to tell you that the American Revolution started with colonization, and all we did, all the white people, all the stupid white people, the mean, stupid colonists did, was come here, look at what the Indians are doing, and say, wow, they're smarter than us, we'll do that. That's the premise. That's the beginning. The narrator of this documentary, American Revolution by Ken Burns, again, it's on PBS. We'll get to why that matters in a moment. The narrator is a man called Peter Coyote. Peter Coyote's an actor. He was a founder back in the 60s or 70s as a young man. He was the founder of an improv group called the Anarchist Improv Foundation. They were comedians, thespians, actors, anarchists. That's what they were. They were anarchists. That doesn't change. Those people from the 60s haven't changed. They haven't. These old people you see out at these No Kings rallies and things like that, they come from the 60s, the anarchy. This is their Antifa of the 60s. That's basically what it is. So this guy's name is Peter Coyote, but he's called Peter Coyote, but he's not. His real name is Bob Cohen. I guess Robert Cohen, technically. But this cuts to the core of what's wrong. So this man has made a living and is getting paid by public broadcasting, which is federal money. It's your tax dollars. He's being paid a fortune to narrate this thing, and he's narrated Ken Burns documentaries before. Under a fake name that he used, Peter Coyote, to sound like he's all about America and the Wild West, and at least Joe Montana's name was Joe Montana. Is Joe Montana. Peter Coyote's name is not Peter Coyote. His name's Bob Cohen. These people are just frauds inside and out. The more you peel back on things like this, the more it will drive you crazy. The normal suspects are in this documentary. Tom Hanks is in it, Claire Danes, Josh Brolin, a host of other people that are liberal Hollywood celebrity types. I assume it's their voices. Maybe at some point it's commentary, like Tom Hanks' commentary on American Revolution produced by Ken Burns on PBS matters to anyone. But the point of this is we saw what happened with defunding PBS, NPR, and all those things. This was a big part of the government shutdown. The government shutdown that just concluded, if you remember, they were on the subsidies, the Obamacare thing. They knew it was a temporary deal. That's the one that got all the play. What they really wanted, and they didn't get this, okay, what they really wanted was the funding put back in place. And they're going to go to the mat like you've never seen to get their funding back. When they get control and power, wait till you see how they fund public broadcasting. A law needs to be passed as we go forward on fairness or equality, on differing political views on PBS and NPR. The only thing I've ever come up with through the years is a suggestion that you do 1 hour at a time. If you run a Ken Burns documentary for an hour, the next hour has to be conservative content. Go let the Republican Party produce their content. Let the Democrats produce theirs, or their people, their Hollywood types, whatever. Like immediately when the Ken Burns thing is over, maybe we have one of these outstanding, the only thing in the movie industry that's growing is Christian movies. Maybe then you get a Christian show on there. Or maybe we do 2 hour blocks. 2 hour documentary Ken Burns, 2 hour Christian movie with, great American policies. That's the only thing I can think of that will really work. And if you do that to NPR and PBS, people will seek out the programs they like and they won't watch the ones they don't. But they don't become simple propaganda machines. They've got to find a way when this gets, because the Democrats are going to refund this, folks. It's going to happen. There's no way that this won't get funded again at some point. But for now, I don't even want to know what they spent on this. Ken Burns, committed liberal. Tom Hanks, Claire Danes, Josh Brolin, Peter Coyote, all these people. These people are making millions and millions of dollars producing content that tells you white people came here, they were colonists, they were murderers, they copied the Native American style of government and implemented it here. Ben Franklin was a fraud. That's what's on PBS. I can't tell you how sick this makes me to have spent my whole life in media. I've never supported it. One time I went to a telethon at KCPT here. I was asked to answer phones. I was with Channel 4. Channel 4 sort of made me. I'm the young cub reporter guy. When I came back, I said, I'll do any public appearances you want. I'm not doing any more for them. I don't believe in it. It is supported with tax dollars. It certainly doesn't need you to donate if it's supported with tax dollars. But you want to see what has really ticked the Democrats off with Trump 2.0? It's the defunding of the Public Broadcasting Corporation. It has driven them absolutely mad and wild, and this is why. I can't even imagine what this cost. You don't want to know. And they'll say it was underwritten by what? Okay, it was underwritten. Great. Tom Hanks' production company probably did this and that for free. He gets a tax write-off. If his company did a bunch of work for free, he gets a tax write-off. It's one big grift and scam, and all they're doing is producing content that is anti-American. That's what it is. Not even pro-Democrat or attacking Trump. They just create things that make you feel like absolute dog meat that you're an American. You watch this and you want to move somewhere else. You hear all these people that say, oh, Trump wins, I'm moving, all these other things, all these moving parts that we have. There's a lot of moving parts like that. This is where they get it. You watch a documentary like this called American Revolution, you're going to be embarrassed to be an American. You're going to want to go. The Democrats that tune into this are like, oh my God, we're the worst country ever. Can you believe what we did to these people? It's just awful. Maybe there are parts as it goes forward where we get to a revolutionary war and maybe Americans seen as the good guys versus the King of England. I don't know. I haven't seen it all. And you know what? I got a lot better. I don't have enough years left to spend 12 hours watching Ken Burns. I guess that's the bottom line. These are committed liberals using your tax dollars to put content out that you hate, but their people love. And it makes me pretty sad that that's just kind of where we are. We got to find a way to do something permanent with these institutions. If we can't take them public, if we can't get somebody to buy them and run them on their own, if they're going to be a government entity, there have to be, of all the things our federal government regulates, how do we not regulate our broadcasting that the government owns and operates and funds? How do we not regulate it to where it's fair for everyone that lives in America? It is an absolute obvious must. It must happen sooner rather than later. Time's a-wasting. They need to pass this before the midterms and make sure no matter what happens, when the Democrats get control and they want to put a bunch of money toward this, it's going towards something that's equal and fair. Because they will not be able, it would be, some of the things that you put out there, like closing the border, whatever, if we can rewrite a law, make it to where they can't do the open border again, it will be too controversial. They can't go back and say, nope, we want to rip this up so it's all slanted toward our party. People don't like that sort of thing. Set it up to where it's fair. It's called American Revolution. It's on PBS. You paid for it, and it stinks. This is Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio. Still ahead, Stan Weber on the Chiefs and Colts. Mark Van Sickle with his dead stone cold lock. He's on fire. He's 7-3 this year on these locks. He's doing great. We got all that straight ahead. This is KCMO Talk Radio. So I feel like I've done a pretty good job this week staying away from the stadium issue in Kansas City, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on the stadium issue here in Kansas City, but I am going to tell you about a new stadium that will be in college football next year that's one of the most groundbreaking, different things you've ever heard of and shows a real trend in what they're doing for sporting events. It was privately funded. It's a very interesting story, but I do want to share with you that the question that I'm getting most now from people who, I think there's a certain number of people. We saw this ridiculous survey in Kansas this week, this Kansas Institute that I stated a couple weeks ago. This was the easiest call I ever made on this show. I said, if you poll people like the Chiefs and Royals are doing on what they think about the stadiums, the majority of people will say, stay where you are. Keep what you have, stay where you are. The Royals are not doing that. I personally don't think the Chiefs are going to do that, but they might for strange reasons, but maybe they will. I'll still be surprised if that's what they decide to do. But that's what Kansas City is, and that's what this poll in Kansas showed, is that fans just want them to stay where they are. Nobody wants any change. Everybody apparently wants to go back to Kemper Arena in the old airport and not have our new terminal or T-Mobile Center. We don't like new things here. We don't like progress. We just want to just leave everything the way it is. It's what we do. But things are changing dramatically with sports facilities. And so what people are asking me now is, why are the Chiefs, as Pete Mundo reported a few weeks ago, looking at a 65,000-seat brand new stadium? And the Royals basically indicated they're looking around 30,000. We know at one point Arrowhead seated 83,000. The Royals were maybe 42,000. And everybody wonders, well, why are they getting smaller? Why are they getting smaller? They're getting smaller because most stadiums and arenas and ballparks don't sell out anymore. There is a new stadium coming to Northwestern University. And before you laugh, this is Chicago. This is the Big Ten. This is massive amounts of money the school has to play football, even though Northwestern, they were good for about a decade under Pat Fitzgerald. but they've not been great all the time, certainly. Once upon a time, they were one of the worst programs anywhere in the country. But they've got really rich alums, and one of those families is the Ryan family. Pat Ryan Jr. is the CEO of Ryan Sports Development. They're minority owners in the Bears, Chicago Bears, who are building a new stadium in the suburbs. They're leaving Soldier Field. They're going to build a new stadium. They're also minority owners in a Premier League soccer team, and now they're basically taking ownership of Northwestern football. They're privately financing it was going to be $850 million to build their new stadium, which will open next fall at Northwestern. They're $12 million over budget is all, because it's their money. They're watching it. They're going to come in at $862 million for a brand new stadium. They said if they took bids now and started over, it would be $1.2 billion. Why in Kansas City am I talking about what Northwestern is doing? Well, everybody asks me all the time, why would the Chiefs have fewer number of seats? Why would the Royals have fewer number of seats? And Pat Ryan Jr., I've not met him. I don't know much about him. Sounds like the smartest guy in the room. He's referring to the new Ryan Stadium at Northwestern next year as, quote, the death of the nosebleeds. That's what they're calling this. It's going to be 35,000, which is really small for the Big Ten. This is where you have the big house and all these massive stadiums. Ryan says, quote, the most expensive seat to build, the hardest seat to sell, and it has the lowest satisfaction, is the nosebleed seat. That's important. It is expensive to build those seats way up high, all the way up in the rafters. It's a difficult thing. Nobody likes sitting there. Stadiums don't sell out very often. Those are the first ones that are empty, and they've done more than that at Northwestern. He said, quote, the reason we didn't renovate our old stadium is because we would have spent all the same money, and frankly, all it would have done was shore up the old building. This new stadium, he's claiming, will have the best view of any football field anywhere in the world. That's American football. The worst seat in the new Ryan Stadium will be 136 feet from the sideline. 136 feet is the worst seat. They're saying this is the best view in the history of a football stadium. They've got it just right. Every single seat will be covered. It's protected, but it's open air. You'll be protected from either the hot sun in the summer or the rain, wind, snow, whatever may be in Chicago. And they will have some heaters inside, and the sound will reverberate around the covering like an echo in a bathroom. He claims this 35,000-seat stadium will be basically louder than Arrowhead, where you can have twice as many people. And I believe it. I believe that's true. I've never thought, is it even possible for Arrowhead to be the loudest stadium? Because it's open air, most of the sound just goes up into the sky. These fans are going to be comfortable, but they've also dedicated sections of seats for the students and young professionals, young graduates, with low prices. They will not get dinged for high prices. They will all have padded chair backs. It will be completely comfortable, even if you're a student going to a game, sitting in the student section. It's very important to them at Northwestern that they got this right, and they did it for under $1 billion. Now, obviously, this is not the NFL model. This is not built to generate revenue. Colleges generate their revenue from their richest boosters, their whales. They just donate money. They treat it like a country club. They just funnel money in to their program that they love. So they've got a different business model than the NFL, which is all about profits, team value, making profits, all of these things. But this is just really unbelievable what Northwestern is doing. And that's why stadiums are getting smaller. Better seats, premium seats. You could say people are getting priced out, but if you don't build the cheap seats, you're not getting priced out. You can come or you can not come. And that's where this is going. Fans that want a more premium experience is where it's all going. I just can't even imagine. I know this is what the Royals want to do. Their stadium certainly will be smaller. I can't imagine it's not what the Chiefs are going to do. And when I hear dome, I don't love it. I don't mind the way the soccer stadiums in Europe are built with the canopies all the way around the top. This can be done right. It can be done really cool. You can heat indoors. I've mentioned many times the Bills are building their new stadium with 65% of the fans covered up. You can do this in Kansas City if it becomes your goal. All right, Uncanceled continues. Coming up next, we'll preview the Chiefs and Colts. This is a make-or-break game for the Chiefs. I believe it's the first must-win for Patrick Mahomes in the regular season. We'll hear Stan Weber's thoughts and more next on KCMO. Welcome back to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio. Great to have you with us on this Friday as we work our way toward the weekend and maybe more importantly, work our way toward our dead stone cold locks with Mark Van Sickle coming up toward the end of the show. He's been on fire with some of these picks, and we'll have a little fun talking some college football as well. Should be an interesting weekend of football. In just a moment, we'll hear from Stan Weber, who I think is the best football analyst I've ever met. And no, he's just knows so much about football. It's crazy. You've heard him here as a fill-in host from time to time. He's a good man, a terrific family man, a man of faith, and boy, does he love football. And we'll talk a little Chiefs. Chiefs have the Colts on Sunday, and I stand in this game in a pretty simple stance. I believe this is the first time in Patrick Mahomes' career, professional career, that the Chiefs have had and Mahomes have had a must-win game in the regular season. I do. I think this is the fork in the road on Sunday. I think if they win, and I think they will win, I think if and when they win, I think they could go on a heck of a streak and win a whole bunch of games. Now, the Dallas game looks tougher on Thanksgiving Day because they've gotten better. They've added pieces before the trade deadline, and they're pretty good. I don't want to jump in front of anything here. We can discuss that next week. But it is a little weird to think of it this way. The Chiefs lost their first 2 games of the season. So while we're sitting here all gloomy and doomy and it's just everything's awful, the Chiefs literally are 5-3 in their last 8 games. That's not horrible. The problem is they've lost 2 in a row. They got outclassed by Buffalo, and in Denver, it was just nothing but one missed opportunity after another. These kinds of things obviously just flat out drive you crazy when you see them happen. So it's got us a little down on this team. But maybe we shouldn't be that down. Josh Simmons is back with the team. He met with the media this week. He thanked the team for standing by him while he was gone, but didn't want to talk about any of the issues. Isaiah Pacheco's back on the practice field after his knee injury. That's good. Baltimore and Houston are also 5-5. This playoff picture is murky. And one thing I know, and I can't go through the whole thing and it's too detailed, I know the season and the playoff picture gets cloudier and cloudier as you go. So the Chiefs, even if they lost, it's not over. I just believe if they lose this week, it means they're not good enough. To me, that's what it means. That'll just be too many good teams they're losing to this year. The Eagles, the Broncos, the Bills, just too many. The Chargers early in the year, there's too many good teams that they lost to. And that's pretty much saying to me that they just don't have it this year. But I think they're going to treat this like a playoff game. I think Arrowhead's going to be wild. And Stan Weber, who is a dear friend and is just so good at this and analyzing football, joined me on my podcast, Kevin Keatsman Has Issues. We do a great lengthy preview of all the games and everything else. If you want to hear more sports, go to kkhasissues.com and you can hear it. But I start with Stan talking about the Colts coming in Sunday. Their running back, Jonathan Taylor, is all world. He's the best in the league. It's going to be hard to stop him. But if you can slow him down a little bit, Daniel Jones, the quarterback for the Colts, while having his best season ever, just now new with the Colts, is still a turnover-prone quarterback. And that can rear its ugly head. So that's where we start with Stan, the Chiefs, trying to stop Daniel Jones and Jonathan Taylor in this game on Sunday.
Well, Steve Spagnuolo has got a lot of pressure on him right now because I've been stating to you, Kevin, that there are not a lot of different makers on the Chiefs defense that stand out. I think their secondary is average after Trent McDuffie. I think you're seeing them get attacked even by the Denver Broncos. So he doesn't have that. Chris Jones did play and went off against Denver, so you're going to need that. But I think that they're going to need to gang up on the run. And normally when he sees a running team, he sells out and says, I don't care if we have 15 players and we're only allowed 11. We're going to send 15 out there. I mean, they're going to run blitzes to try to stop Jonathan Taylor and frustrate the Colts and say, you've got to pass. This game is all about Daniel Jones and his passing game. That usually works, Kevin, against a team of the Colts caliber. That usually enough to get the Chiefs over the hump and be the better team. Suddenly you go, oh, these Chiefs aren't ready for prime time. You know, this isn't Buffalo coming in here, the Philadelphia Eagles. They're an up-and-coming team. That's the way it normally works. That'll be the game plan to try to do that. What worries me is a couple of things. Number one, Jonathan Taylor is different than any back that's come in here. You might say, well, what about Derrick Henry? I will propose to you that Derrick Henry, if you get a hold of him right as he's getting going like a locomotive, you grab him right away by his legs near the backfield, or you make him have to make a juke move, he's easy to tackle for a 1 or 2 yard gain. Now, that's not true after 7 yards. Then he may go and run over you and run for 30. He's a great back. But Taylor's way harder to stop for a Chiefs defense. He reads the holes. He believes in his offensive line. They're pretty good. And he's indifferent of what he's doing. He'll run through the zero gap. He'll bounce and run outside. He'll run sweeps. He can do it all. He truly is an elite running back that is hard to stop. And I can make a case, Kevin, unfortunately, that the Colts aren't going to be stymied by the Chiefs defense, that they're going to be able to run the ball. And if they are able to run the ball, Denver showed them how you pass. Okay, roll the quarterback out, bootleg, fake the run. If the Colts play action and fake a run and put Daniel Jones on the edge, just make it a simple passing game, and you can throw on the Chiefs. The Chiefs secondary does not scare you. The Chiefs blitz package has fallen off a little bit, Kevin. It's the one area that I don't see the same precision that I've seen in the past. I just think the Colts are going to come in here with a plan in confidence. I think they have a quarterback that if he can stay away from being pressured with the running game, and Jonathan Taylor may be able to get that done, that they could be very dangerous. Now, the Colts defense is not great, but will the Chiefs attack them? Do you realize on edge rushes, the Colts give up 5.3 yards per carry? That's really, really bad. But will the Chiefs invest in the running game? I mean, will they really? Do you worry about the Chiefs beating you if you're an opponent running the football? And I don't know how Andy will be tempted. Will he really do edge rushing to take advantage of some of the Colts' weaknesses? It's going to be interesting to see. I thought the Colts would be intimidated coming into Kansas City. I thought that they would play like most teams do here when Spags puts the pressure on, the quarterback turns back into a normal person. They stuff the running game no matter who the runners are, and then the offense gets going at its appropriate time and they win. That's still most likely. I mean, I'll give you, 60% chance that's going to happen, but not an 80% chance. I think this game's up in the air much more than I thought it was.
That is Stan Weber talking a little Chiefs football. Man, nobody knows football like Stan Weber does. That is absolutely the truth. He is something else. Beautiful game day on Sunday. Looking forward to this one very much. 63 and sunny. Get your tail to Arrowhead or watch with your friends as you get ready for the holiday week. And that brings up basically our question of the show today. I don't know what to do exactly. I'm a little lost here. I'm just being honest. Is it okay to turn the Christmas lights on before Thanksgiving? Is it okay to go Christmas shopping this weekend before Thanksgiving? I don't have these answers. Everybody's different. My mom, God bless her, she'll see something on Amazon or something in the middle of summer, and she'll buy Christmas gifts in the middle of the summer and just hang on to them. I don't know what the proper protocol is. If you live in Leawood, it's probably a separate set of rules with turning your lights on. I don't know. But I'm getting in the holiday mood, and it's just a Friday morning right now. And I'm still starting to feel good about the holidays. Looking forward to all of it. Is it okay to watch Christmas Vacation if it's on this weekend? I got a buddy that he's the biggest Christmas Vacation movie watching fan ever. And he says it is not okay to watch it until Thanksgiving night. I said, yeah, but then the NFL played a trick on us. They started putting football on Thanksgiving night. So I got to watch it before that. And that's an absolute. As strange as that may sound, that becomes an absolute for me. I say it's okay. Turn your lights on, put your tree up this weekend if you want, get ready for your holiday weekend, and start enjoying your time with your friends and family and get ready for the holiday. Mark Van Sickle joins us next. This is Uncanceled. Well, we're wrapping up another week here on Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio. Hope you have a great weekend ahead. And that includes a lot of football, and it includes football next week. The Chiefs have a chance to win 2 games in 4 days. If they play this thing out right, get to 7-5 and change the narrative completely. I don't know if they'll do it or not. We'll find out. Let's check in with our resident parlay expert, Mark Van Parlay, who spends as much time on FanDuel as he does working here at the radio station, I think. I see the phone in his hand a lot, and I just assume that he's on FanDuel looking at odds. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. I'm just, looking up spreads right now for college football. That's what I'm doing. So you're not wrong.
That's awesome. So you've been on FanDuel a while. Now, they're great partners with us here at KCMO Talk Radio, and I think a lot of people have heard the spots. The sports wagering is going to be legal in Missouri beginning December 1st. But you can sign up now. We got a lot of promotions going on if people want to do this. Basically what happens, you deposit $5 and you can get up to $300 worth of free bets?
That's right. If you are a new user in Missouri, that is exactly right. You bet your first $5 and you'll get $300 in bonus bets. It's so easy.
You've been on FanDuel how long? Like a couple of years.
3 years now. Yeah, it's crazy.
So you love it. You originally got on there. They're the largest sports wagering operation in the world, correct?
Yeah.
And do they offer more bets? Have you noticed, if you compare them to other apps and whatnot, what is it that you really like about FanDuel?
I just like that you can do the same game parlays. You can do any kind of parlays. You can get up to 25 teams in a parlay, which
oh boy.
I know you always hate it when I say it, but it's fun just to do once a week. Once a week, you just do as many teams as you can, big odds. So like you pick the teams that are supposed to win by 30 points in college basketball, right? College basketball just started. Pick all the teams that are supposed to win by 30 points. And it gets up to plus 300, plus 400 for 25 teams. It's like, might as well try it.
Awesome. So a same-game parlay, I don't do parlays very often, but that would be like taking the Chiefs and the over on Sunday. If you took the Chiefs and the over, how many points are the Chiefs this week? Close to 50, isn't
49 and a half.
49.
Yeah.
Chiefs and over 59 or 49 and a half total points. You parlay those up, and if they both hit, it pays better than 2-1, right? Theoretically?
Exactly, yeah.
So pay like 3-1?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what you like to do, 2-teamers, or you just like the exotic ones?
It depends on the week, really. Like if there's some big favorites, I'll do like 3 or 4 teams, see what I can get with them. But yeah, it just depends on the week, the players. I like to do the Chiefs parlay where I get 4 or 5 picks and see what happens.
And you obviously have the college show on Saturdays and the pros on Sundays. How are you doing this year with your picks?
Man, it started out a little bit rough in college just because you don't know what's going to be going on, but been doing a little bit better lately. There last week in the NFL went 11-3 against the spread, so that got me excited, got the listeners excited as well. So it's funny because people listen all the time on our station, right? So people call in during Peach Show and they're like, "Hey, I did a parlay off of your picks and it hit." So I like hearing that stuff.
No, that's fantastic stuff. That's why we call you Mark Van Parlay. I love that. All right, let's talk a little football, buddy. Well, you just heard the comments. We talked a little bit with Stan Weber about the Chiefs and Colts. I told you on Monday, I tried to pump up the whole city on this show on Monday. The Chiefs are going to win their next 2 games. The entire narrative is going to change. Right now, the computer says the Chiefs have about a 50% chance of making the playoffs. I won't bet my house, but I'd bet a significant amount on the Chiefs making the playoffs if I could get even money on that. I don't believe Vegas is offering that, are they?
No, right now they're still the 3rd best odds in the AFC to win the Super Bowl.
Wow.
I think. So, yeah, the Vegas is not giving us any favors on the Chiefs. They've seen what they've done in the past, and they're not going to give us any free money there. But I think you're right. The Chargers' schedule is much tougher, and I think the Chiefs beat the Chargers. They get into the playoffs.
Well, it's weird because the computer says 50-50. The Chiefs are tied with the Texans. They're tied with the Ravens. They've beaten the Ravens. They play the Texans, so they can take care of those teams. Mm-hmm. But they're essentially 2 games back at Jacksonville right now for the last spot. That's the real problem they have is that game they lost to Jacksonville. You're right. They're 2.5 back of the Chargers with the tiebreaker, but they get so much of that back by beating them head-to-head. So, look, what the Chiefs have done, even when they've struggled, they've found a way to get hot and win games, and that this is where they are. I don't remember a must-win game in the Mahomes era as the starting quarterback. Sunday's the closest thing I can remember to that. I think if they lose Sunday, I think they're in real trouble. I'm not sure they're going to make it. I think for me, it will just be a sign that they're not good enough. They will have lost to a lot of good teams, and that matters. But I think they're going to win Sunday, and I think it might be by 10 to 14 points. What do you think this game looks like Sunday?
I think they're going to get Kareem Hunt the ball a little bit more. I think that was just something that Andy Reid kind of talked about a little bit, doing the RPOs, not giving the ball to him on the RPOs. I think they might call some legitimate run plays this week. Now, Andy Reid doesn't do that often, so he might prove me wrong there, but it's just, I don't know, with this defense, I wish Spags would do some more blitzes, especially against guys like Bo Nix who haven't been in the league for a while. Daniel Jones has been in the league, but he hasn't been great until this year.
Right.
So get after Daniel Jones, stuff Jonathan Taylor, and I think they'll win the game.
I'm going 3 takeaways by the Chiefs defense, no turnovers by the Chiefs offense, 28-20 Kansas City.
That would be a big win.
With a missed field goal.
See, I like 31-17.
Okay.
So I like them making a field goal.
Like something's going to happen with one of the kicks. I don't like the Chiefs special teams at all. That's really, really been disappointing this year. I don't like that at all. All right, a bad college weekend. This is going to be tough. Missouri's at Oklahoma. KU's at Iowa State. K-State's at Utah. I don't think any of them win, but the team with the best chance is Kansas going to Iowa State. And I don't think anybody would have looked at this weekend at the start of the year and said, boy, there's the best shot at winning a game.
Yeah, and Kansas needs this game to get bowl eligible because I don't think they're going to beat Utah in a couple weeks. So I think they're going to be in it to win it, but I don't know if I can pick them to win it at this point.
I'm going 3 takeaways by the Chiefs and 3 losses for our college teams this weekend. I think they all go down. And I think KU Iowa State's ugly because that's what Iowa State does. Mm-hmm. And you'll think, wow, KU blew one or they had a chance and didn't get it done. I think it's probably what it'll be. There's no number big enough, folks, for the K. It's not going to be my dead stone cold lock because I'm emotional with K-State. So this will not be the dead stone cold lock of the week. I don't know how Utah doesn't cover 17.5. K-State's injured. Their line is gone. Their captain on defense is lost for the year. Their star running back transferred out of the program. The Rats are jumping ship in Manhattan. I don't see any way they play on the road at Utah and hang in this game.
I wish it was 16.5 because that would be my stone cold lock. I love the 1 point. They just make it. Vegas always does this to me. 17 points, I would like that, but 17.5 is a little close.
If they lose 45-10, it's not going to matter.
That's true. You can take that over.
Happen. I don't like Missouri's chances really of covering either. They're getting 7.5 points against Oklahoma. Oklahoma's defense may be the best in the country. Missouri's going to have a hard time scoring this week.
Yeah, again, 7.5. I don't like those 7.5, 17.5. I hate those numbers. I think Mizzou could do a 6.5, but not the 7.5.
Should be a fun weekend of football, and then we turn right around Thanksgiving week where we have essentially a triple header on Thanksgiving, college on Friday, and then all weekend. This is like these next 10 days, if you're a football fan, I'm sorry I'm geeking out here.
Yeah.
It's the end of the week, all right? You got to deal with me right now. I just geek out on football. I absolutely love it. But the next 10 days are just going to be phenomenal football viewing if you love the sport of football. I don't know our record for our Stone Cold Locks. We went 2-0 last week. We hit them both. This is week 12, so we've done, I think there's been 22 picks. We're over 500 for sure. Do you know the exact number?
I think we're 2 over. I think we were at 500 going into last week, and I think with last week going 2-0, now we're 2 over 500.
I was hoping we were better than that. So we're probably 12-10.
Yeah.
We're 12-10.
We started out hot, and then we went on a little losing streak. Now we're going to get hot to end the season.
You're being too kind. What Mark is trying to say is Kevin got cold as ice about 4 weeks in a row and really botched the team record. I'm going to guess of the 12-10, I'm maybe 4-6, and you're – no, I might be 5-5, and you'd be 7-3. That sound right?
That might be right.
That's probably where we are. So that's not bad.
No.
If I'm 5-5, I'm not apologizing for that because we did start hot. All right, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
I'll go first.
Mortal, dead stone, ice cold, lock of the week.
All right, I'm going to stay local. I know we don't like them to win, but I think that the Jayhawks will keep it within 4.5 at Iowa State. And it's because they're going for a bowl. They got to get to 6 wins here. They're going to be fighting. They're going to be playing tough. And they just seem to not lose big in these games. They go on the road to Iowa State. 4.5 points. It's going to be a close game. They're probably going to lose by 3 on a last-minute touchdown by Iowa State. So I'm going to go KU keeping it within 4.5. I think it's going to be like 24-20.
I see your logic. And Iowa State doesn't cover either. They've won some games this year, but they don't ever cover when they win. It always just goes down to Iowa State's that team that always plays to the wire. I like your pick. It wouldn't be my lock because I just don't trust KU. Yeah. I don't trust either one of them. I don't. I think maybe the value in that game might be KU money line because of what you said.
Yeah.
They need to win to make a bowl game because they probably won't win against Utah coming up in their last game. I'm going to go Sunday Night Football for my dead stone cold lock of the week. This is the Bucs and the Rams, and I don't see any defense in this game. I see two quarterbacks. First of all, Stafford's playing great at a ridiculous level. The Rams offense is just humming. They look like maybe the best team in the NFC. It's arguable that could be the Eagles. And the Buccaneers just play wild games. Baker Mayfield will turn it over, but he'll also throw for 3 touchdowns. That means points. The total is 49.5. I'm going with the over as my lock.
I like it.
We like them until we don't. That's the way this works. What do you got planned for the weekend? Anything good, buddy?
Oh, man, just going to be watching a lot of football. I think that's it.
Awesome. Have a great one. He is Mark Van Sickle. Check out his shows Saturday and Sunday morning, his college show and pro show if you like the lines. And don't forget our friends at FanDuel.com if you're in Missouri. They're offering bonus signups right now. You cannot wager until December 1st, but we sure appreciate them coming on board. And I'm going to sign up for FanDuel as well on December 1. I'll do the same thing. I'm ready to go. But I'm waiting. I'm going to get the bonus. I think because I'm in Kansas, I have to go over to Missouri to do this, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I got to drive to Missouri to sign up to get the bonus. I will do that to get the free plays. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to Uncanceled. The Vince Show is coming up next.